What's good, guys? It's your boy Scar, super average producer, back for a little trap beat, trap melody tutorial. Before we get started, shout out my pops, man, for buying me possibly the most corny shirt that any producer could possibly own. I hope y'all appreciate it as much as I do. Wasn't gonna be caught dead wearing it in public, so figured I'll throw it on for a video or two, wear it around the crib. So today's trap beat, I'm gonna be using my brand new drum kit that I just dropped. Spent pretty much all day making this. I had on my schedule to make this video around 5 o'clock and it is now midnight, so went a little overboard. Not to call anybody out or rant on anything, but I think a lot of producers, when they put out drum kits, are kind of just saving other producers' sounds or sounds they found elsewhere. I don't really think that's cool. Definitely not original at all. And a lot of times I know when I buy drum kits, I end up just getting a bunch of sounds I already had with maybe a couple that I didn't. So just so you guys have an idea, man, and just so in case you guys want to go and make your own custom drums or anything, really how I went about processing these, I basically just used a bunch of Universal Audio demos for plugins that I don't have that are really expensive. I really want to buy them now that I use them, but this SPL transient designer is fire for anything transient related. I've never had a transient designer like it in my life. Use this Ampex ATR 102 tape machine to add a little bit of analog type warmth to a lot of drum samples. Blueface 1176, my favorite compressor. Neve 1073, add some 7K on snares, just add some overall brightness to some sounds. My favorite EQ for low end, for kicks, for 808, stuff like that, is a Pultec Pro. And then lastly, a Fairchild 660 to get some width on some stuff, to get some more warmth. And it just has a really, really unique, just warm sound. I love it. So yeah, overall, that's about $3,000, $2,000 in plugins, I think. I only own a couple of them. Like I said, I just activated a bunch of demos. So these drum sounds are pretty fire, and we're about to cook up a quick trap beat with them and see what you guys think. All right, so here's a beat I just cooked up using these new drum samples in my new kit. Also using this template that I went over in my last video. Just helps me to make stuff faster. Just having everything set up how I like it in this template. Shout out everybody who's bought the template so far. I hope y'all love it. Feedback I've got on it so far is awesome, so I appreciate y'all. So I'm gonna just break down how I made this beat, and all the drum samples, like I said, are from my kit, and I didn't do any further processing on them. That's why I like making my own drum sounds, is because I spend way too much time doing little tweaks on all kinds of drum samples that I use. So just kind of getting these drum samples where I want for this kit really allowed me to cook up real quick. And like I said, there's no further processing. These are all really raw, straight out of the kit drum sounds. So see what y'all think about them. First, I started with this melody out of Omnisphere. A lot of times I'll even turn this shaper box or gross beat halfway, half on. That way when you're making a melody, you're almost making a counter melody at the same time. So I'll tweak this knob as we go and show you guys what I mean. But I think when I originally started making this melody, I actually had it half on or 3/4 on. So we'll go like that and I'll show you what I did. When I'm making chords, especially when I'm making chords that are gonna be run through time-based effects like a gross beat, a half speed, something like that, I definitely like to have some spacing in the chord, like a strum type effect, rather than have them like all hit on the one directly. You'll see how it sounds compared to if they were all just stacked on top of each other directly. So if I quantize that to where they're not strummed, it's gonna give you a totally different sound. You can see when I tweak this knob, it goes from like one melody to, the more you turn it off, it's going half speed and regular speed. So it's almost like you have a counter melody at the same time. So if you use Omnisphere, you know that most sounds come in here with like an A and a B sound source, or two samples, or it might be like some type of like waveform and a sample mixed or whatever. A lot of times I find that I like to clone it and turn on the A on one and the B on other to kind of mix them together, rather than having like the A and the B play from both. Totally depends on the beat and the sound I'm going for, but that's actually what I did in this case, because to start, this was like an A and a B sound. So you could hear that that B sound is like a bellish type, lot more high pitched sound. So I wanted to isolate that. So I just took it, I cloned it. On this one, I turned on the B, I turned off the A, and that way I can mix it differently. I can have it come in and out, so it's not on all the time. So after I separated them, I just cloned the melody down to here. And I ended up going in and tweaking these notes. You could see that I play with the velocity. So on this original melody, if you look at the F note, it's the quietest note in the pattern. And on this second melody, if you look at the F note, it's the loudest note in the pattern. So it adds some level of contrast so that they kind of have space for each other and they're both filling out their own area. So this is how it sounds with both melodies. And I also just clone the effects. You can do that by right-clicking, File, Save Mixer Track State As, and just drag it there. Shit, I don't know what to do with it now that I have it. Go away. Okay, it went away. So yeah, I just put another half speed here, but on this half speed, I manipulated it so that only this frequency band you can see here from mid to high is running through a half speed, and the highs and then this area of the lows are remaining like unaffected. In addition to that, I also went ahead and clicked create automation clip for this shaper box, so that on the second half of this, it's only like halfway on. It just helps keep it interesting to me. Grabbed a little clap out of the kit. Hi-hat and like a secondary hi-hat to kind of accent that out of the kit. Open hat. A little perk. And then a kick out of the kit. So then when it dropped, a snare comes in. I had one of the hats go away. I had the open hat go away for the first 8 bars. I had the 808 come in. And once again, all this stuff's just right out my kit. Something I've been doing a lot recently that I think helps keep things more interesting is adding a lot of variation to my 808. So I like to kind of switch it up every 8 bars. For this one, I just really had a pretty simple 808 when it dropped. I like that right here, when it goes up to this F sharp note, to me, it kind of signifies that something's gonna change, which the pattern does. And then at the end of this 8 bars, it goes back down to this, what is that? A sharp. It goes back down to the A sharp, and to me that kind of signifies it's gonna go back into something else. So that 808 switch up paired with some elements of the drums coming back in, paired with the automation on the melody to have the shaper box half on, half off, that's really all you need to keep it interesting in my mind. So that's like 3 elements changing at once. Anything more than that's probably overkill. I think that the human ear can only focus on 3 things at once. So I'm definitely not trying to introduce more than 3 elements at once. That's pretty much the max that I'm gonna bring in at one point. I'm just trying to think of like, what else would I do to make this beat whole? I really like to automate EQs, specifically low pass EQs, so that you're taking away the high end of a melody and it just kind of adds like more excitement and more energy when it comes back in. So a lot of times on my intros, I'll do this on the master too, but sometimes just on a melody, I'll just cut out the highs and automate it to go away when the actual beat drops. It adds so much more excitement when it drops. Contrast is everything, man. I spent years trying to mix my beats to be brighter or like EQ melodies to add high end to it. But if you just add contrast rather than trying to add more brightness all the time, If you add low pass filters to cut off the highs in the intro or whatever, that's giving somebody something to contrast it with. So maybe they're only expecting the melody to be that bright, or that's the initial taste of that melody that they're getting, so that when that filter goes away and it drops, regardless of whether or not you thought it was bright before, you and the listener are going to perceive that as more bright since it was filtered to begin with. And you can bring that filter in and out throughout the beat. Just little ways to keep it interesting, man. Automation is the key to keeping things interesting, in my opinion. It's one of the easiest ways to do it. So really, using good drum sounds from this kit, I really don't need to do any individual drum element mixing. I don't need to EQ anything. It's all done in this kit. What I can do now, because I have this template set up real easy, is do some sends to some reverbs. Maybe I want to send my melody to a phaser or whatever, but it's going to be super efficient because I already set up my template like that. I'm gonna link the last video to creating templates in the description so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Basically what I'm thinking right now is maybe I want to add a little bit of reverb to some drum element, maybe the clap, maybe the hat. Where's my clap? Okay, here's my clap. So I'm gonna click here to send it to this medium reverb I already have set up. Way too much. I'm just gonna send less. That's just like too long of a decay, so that's why I have a small reverb set up. Let's check that out. It's probably a lot better. Turn down the volume. That's why I love aux sends, man. You can control how much you're sending, the volume, EQ the reverb, adjust the actual reverb, just a lot more control over the effect. So now that we sent that clap to the verb, gives you more depth. Maybe I want to send the hat there, but just a tiny bit of the hat gets sent. Let's send, I'm gonna mute this second melody. Let's send the first melody to a, phaser. That sounds fire. Okay, cool. We're gonna automate that now. See, this is how you get freaky with stuff. Create automation clip. And I don't want it to be phasing off rip. I also don't want this second melody to come in when the phaser comes in. So I'm gonna move this whole idea. Have this phaser come in when it drops. And maybe increase in strength throughout like the first 8. I mean, so you guys really just watched me like sequence and do my switch ups in real time. And that's how I'm doing it most times, is maybe some pattern switch ups, but a lot of automation switch ups. A lot of automating how much I'm sending to an effect. So yeah, setting up a template can make your life really easy doing this. You guys saw it. I didn't have to actually go in here and add any effect to the channel. Really, by setting up these type of effects here, you're really creating a new layer. You can automate and control when you want it sent, and you can experiment really quickly. You guys watched me decide that I didn't want a medium reverb on the clap and the hat. I wanted a small one. I didn't even have to open a reverb plugin to manipulate the settings in it. I have a small, medium, and a big verb set up. I just sent some drums to it. I sent my melody to a phaser. I did a little bit of automation, and there you go. You're keeping it interesting. It's that easy. I really hope this helped you guys out today. Definitely go check out the drum kit if you want. I'm gonna make it 15 bucks for the first 20 people who buy it, because I really appreciate you guys who jump on stuff right away to support me, man. I can't say thank you enough. A couple people have already hit me up and copped it on Twitter, so I'll jump on it today if you want to get it for the best price before it goes up to where it will be normally. This template's still available in my description if you guys want to get that, and I really think these will help you guys out. As always, thank you guys so much. Let me know what you want to see videos on next. I'm happy to do anything you guys want to see. So I really hope this is helping you guys get better, make better beats, keep things interesting. That's really the whole point of all this, man. Thank you guys for watching, and peace.